For generations, we've been sold this one idea of what a successful career looks like. You know the one. It's a ladder. You start at the bottom and you just climb, one predictable rung at a time, straight to the top. But what if that whole idea is wrong? What if their ladder is, well, broken? And what if today's journey is less like a straight line and more like a jungle gym? Okay, let's really get into this. And this visual just nails the shift perfectly. On the left, you've got the old school career ladder. There's only one direction, up. It's simple, it's stable, and let's be honest, it's kind of outdated. Now look at the right. That's the career jungle gym. There's so many paths. You can go up, you can move sideways, you can even climb down for a minute to get to a much better spot. It's all about being agile, not just about getting higher. Now, if you're thinking this is just a neat little metaphor, check out this number. 60%. That's huge. The majority of young professionals aren't just switching jobs. They're jumping between totally different industries. So the jungle gym isn't some far-off theory. It's literally what's happening right now. It's the new normal.
So if we're all playing on this new jungle gym, it brings us to a really important point. The old map that we were all given, that reliable old career ladder, it's broken. Let's dig in and figure out exactly why that map just doesn't lead anywhere useful anymore.
That's the million-dollar question, right? It's not like it just tipped over in a light breeze. A whole bunch of powerful forces came together and basically knocked it down, replacing it with this much more complex and, kind of chaotic landscape.
So let's become detectives for a minute and look at these forces of change. We're going to uncover the clues behind all this career chaos, and you'll see it's everything from crazy fast technology to some really deep shifts in what we want out of life. All right, first up, and this one is a monster, skills obsolescence. Thanks to things like AI and automation, the skills that make you valuable today might be, well, not so valuable in just a few years. I mean, when the core skills for a job can change by almost 40% every few years, just sitting still on one rung of a ladder is no longer the safe bet. It's actually a huge risk. You got to keep moving just to stay in the game. And it's not just about what you can do. The entire relationship between you and your employer has been turned upside down. You know that old deal, the one that said, you give us your loyalty and we'll give you job security for life? Yeah, that contract is pretty much torn up. That kind of security is mostly a thing of the past.
Now, if you want to see the proof, just follow the money. This slide says it all. If you stay put at your job, you're looking at a pretty measly 3 to 4% raise. But if you switch jobs, boom, you're suddenly in the 10 to 15% range. The system is actually, financially, rewarding you for jumping from one part of the jungle gym to another.
So what does this all do to our mindset? Well, it leads to a massive psychological shift. We don't really see ourselves as cogs in some big corporate machine anymore. Instead, we've become more like free agents. We're managing a portfolio career, collecting different skills and experiences to spread out our risk, just like a smart investor would do with their money. And the companies themselves, they're getting with the program. A whopping 85% of major employers are now all about skills-based hiring. They care way more about what you can actually do than what your degree says. This is a total game changer because it makes it so much easier for someone to leap from one field to another, say from marketing into data analysis. And beyond all the money and the skills, there's a really human part of this story. Think about the Great Resignation. That wasn't just a weird blip on the radar, it was a huge cultural signal. People are actively choosing to redesign their careers to find more purpose, to protect their mental health, and to have more flexibility. They're totally willing to trade a higher rung on that old ladder for a spot on the jungle gym that just feels better. And you have to add this to the mix. We're all living and working so much longer now. The idea of doing the exact same thing for 50 or 60 years, it's not just unappealing, it's becoming totally impractical. So we're moving toward this idea of a multi-stage life. You might have a stage where you learn and build, then another where you create and lead, and maybe a final stage where you advise and teach. A single straight ladder just can't support a rich journey like that.
Okay, so the ladder's broken, the world feels chaotic. That might sound a little scary, I get it, but it is not all bad news. Not at all. In fact, this new reality gives you a set of amazing new career superpowers that are perfectly designed for thriving in this jungle gym.
Just look at this list. By navigating the jungle gym, you basically become a human Swiss Army knife. You're incredibly adaptable. Your experience across different industries gives you this amazing, broad perspective, so you can solve problems in ways that specialists just can't. Your network isn't just deep in one little area, it's wide and spans across multiple sectors. And maybe most importantly, by constantly learning and pivoting, you are actively future-proofing your career. And you know what? The smartest companies totally get this. They're not scared of a resume that has some twists and turns anymore. They're actually encouraging people to make lateral moves to keep them engaged. They're starting to value generalists who can bring in fresh ideas. They're even offering things like returnships for people coming back after a career break. They're embracing the jungle gym because that's where they find the best people. So, how do we wrap this all up? With all these changes, what's the new game plan? Well, the key is to completely shift your mindset. You have to stop seeing your career as a climb and start seeing it for what it is, an adventure, an exploration. This right here is probably the most important thing to take away. That sideways move you made to a different department, that gap year you took to learn a new skill, that is not a setback. It's not a bug in your career plan, it's a feature. It's a sign of a dynamic, modern, and much more resilient professional life. At the end of the day, it all means our definition of success itself has to evolve. It's no longer just about the fancy title on your business card or what floor your office is on. Success today and in the future is all about your ability to navigate, to adapt, and to thrive in a world that is always, always changing. And that leaves us with one final thought to ponder. If you start viewing your career not as this rigid, confining ladder, but as this wide open jungle gym, as a grand adventure, where does that empower you to explore next?